Hello and welcome to GEOSCOPE on Labour Social. I'm Graham Hughes, and tonight I'm joined, as always, by Ollie Bowlerhatman. How you doing, Ollie?
Greetings. I thought this
Hello.
time, because I like going through all the different backgrounds.
Yeah.
We've got a frog.
You got a frog? I like him.
Look, I can tickle his chin.
Oh, that is cute. That is cute.
Give his chin a little tickle.
You brought Nigel
We've got a
Farage along with you.
a little butterfly or a little Boris fly.
Oh. I need to update my background. I've been stuck in this AI generated warehouse for the last year. On Monday,
You're right to generate you a new warehouse.
Yeah, yesterday I replaced it with Boris Johnson's wallpaper. That was lovely, so tastefully done. What is it? Colonial chic? Is that the way it looked? It was.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Golden red.
Yeah. So big hello to everyone in the chat there. We've got Puddinator, first day, new NHS job. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
A nice fun having a change. We've got number 3 is in the chat there. Hi Richard. We've got Emma Price as well. Bowler Hat man is in there. And you're there as well. How do you do these things? 91 leads, Billy Kershaw. Oh, and Puddinator is there. Urgent question again. Where's the bowler hat, man?
Oh, every time.
Time.
It is there, but it is out of reach.
It
does get heavy.
Like my Guinness World Record certificate, Richard. I've decided to keep this under my desk now, so I can hold it up whenever I need to prove to anyone.
Every single time.
That I'm the first person to visit every country in the world.
Hold on, I can go.
Guinness says so.
if we're showing off awards.
Oh yeah, nice. What's that? Polo.
You can see the dust. I haven't done dusting at all.
Is that? Did you say that was polo? Water polo, eating polos.
No, this is my public speaking award.
Oh, fantastic!
You can't see it very well, but yeah, it keeps on.
That's a beautiful thing. I didn't know you could win them unless you spoke posh. No.
Oh no, I speak proper Yorkshire.
Oh, I did the whole show yesterday Yorkshire. For April Fools in like a posh voice, and honestly, it was grating on me. Doing it, do you know what I mean? I feel sorry for the viewers. No wonder they only took £2 in super chats. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about. We've got 5 stories tonight, but let's start off with the Serbian president's alarming social media warning.
Yes.
Stirs mystery in Europe. I'm intrigued. Tell us more, Ollie.
So you may remember, I think it was last year we covered the ongoing sort of kerfuffle that was going on between Serbia and Kosovo over the fact that you had Serbian nationalists who lived in Kosovo refusing to adopt Kosovan license plates, which sort of challenges the whole idea of statehood of Kosovo. There have been other incidents which have sort of brought the tensions still obviously going on there for quite a while, but they've been still boiling away in the background. And of course, one of the big problems is that Serbia is quite aligned to Russia, and Putin has really been putting on the pressure on Serbia to do or start something, which would sort of take the pressure off them, off Ukraine, and start something else.
Oh, you think what we're doing's bad? Look what they're doing over there. Yeah. Okay. Right.
And remember when we were talking about Nagorno-Karabakh, where Azerbaijan sort of really took this opportunity to retake that territory.
So this was Nagorno-Karabakh. It was an Armenian exclave within Azerbaijan. For years, it was a bone of contention. There was a war in the early 90s, and which Armenia won. And then there was a war a couple of years ago, which Azerbaijan won. And now Nagorno-Karabakh doesn't technically exist as an enclave anymore. All of the ethnic Albanians have been sent... Armenians have been sent to Armenia.
Yep. One of our very first episodes. That.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, we're talking about that.
No, don't worry, it'll be our first year anniversary soon.
Oh God! Brilliant. Panama Hat Man, Fedora Boy. What? Yeah. So go on. What's been said on the social media though? I'm intrigued.
So he's put out the most
your mum joke
social media post ever.
Okay.
That the Serbian people should prepare. That ahead there are going to be times of trouble, but don't worry, the Serbian people are going to fight and win a very big victory. And you're like,
is he talking about Eurovision?
Well, this is it. We don't know, because he's meeting. There's two sort of really big areas that Serbia could cause trouble with. Obviously, there's Kosovo, and the immediate problem with that is that there's NATO peacekeepers in Kosovo. So if he goes that way, then NATO is going to get involved. The other way he could cause trouble is with Bosnia and Herzegovina, as there is a sort of semi-autonomous part of that country that sort of has very strong ties to Serbia, that want to sort of split off from there and join Serbia. So there's two trouble spots, and no one really sort of knows which one they're talking about. He recently had a meeting with the leader of that enclave there. So there was meant to be something, an announcement over Easter, but so far haven't been able to see if there's been an announcement, what announcement that was. Maybe it was just hopefully a visit, but it's a bit concerning when you've got a world leader just like Donald Trump. When you may remember when we were all tied to Donald Trump's tweets, and he would tweet something off random, and we'd be like, "Oh no, what's this going to cause?"
Well, now he puts things
this is
on
exactly
Trump
the same
social, but no one cares.
This is exactly the same mandate of a world leader saying something and going,
this is a week ago and nothing's happened so far. Difficult days are ahead of Serbia, he said in the Facebook post. At this moment, it's not easy to say what kind of news we received in the last 48 hours, but they directly threaten our vital national interests, both of Serbia and Republic Srpska, which is part of Bosnia and Herzegovina. He vaguely alluded to Serbia fighting and winning in a difficult challenge ahead. In the coming days, I will introduce the people of Serbia to all the challenges that lie ahead. It will be difficult. We will fight. Serbia will win. Yep. Are you sure it's not about Eurovision? Are we making light? Am I making light about this? I probably shouldn't, should I? I've got to, man. Otherwise,
again, it's one of these posts where it has caused a lot of worry. Even America's had to look at them and go, what's this about?
Yeah.
Because who have they had like the biggest sort of arguments with at the moment? Where's their big trouble points? Well, currently at the moment, it's in Kosovo. There is a lot of tension in and around that area with not only sort of the Kosovans, but also people who do feel that they should be part of Serbia but still live there. And it is causing a lot of problems. There has been some very sort of high-profile incidents. There was an incident where a couple of gunmen took over an area and sort of tried to, again, start an uprising.
Yeah, in a village that left 4 people dead.
Yeah. So there's a lot of this stuff that is going on at like a very low level. And the problem then becomes, does this escalate? And when you've got a national president saying something like that, that's the problems where, when you are a leader, your words carry weight. And this is the perfect example of, you can't just be a world leader and just say, we're going to go and invade France, because France is going to go, well, what are you doing? Especially as France has a strike first policy, which is even more worrying on that front. But it's sparked a lot of tensions. It's sparked a lot of mystery, and it set a lot of people very, very much on edge going on at this point. So it's yet, unfortunately, potentially another trouble point that could happen. But so far, nothing's happened, which, to be honest, hey, if nothing's happened,
no news is good news, as they say.
Exactly. No news is good news. Yeah.
So
exactly.
We've got Richard in the chat saying, I still have brain ache from watching Tory Social yesterday. We've also got Tinkernator saying, yeah, when I was sleeping, I could hear Toff Graham screaming in my head. Funny but terrifying at the same time, lol. Someone put as a comment, don't give up the day job, and I was like, I fully intend not to. I honestly couldn't do this every day. Yeah, I know Max does it now and again, doesn't he? He's got his own Tory character that he plays. But I find it too difficult. It's just
I've got
one of them.
Conservative bane.
Daily Blase is in the chat. Hi, Darren. How you doing, mate? Good to hear from you.
What?
And Michael Warner said, did you see Sunak's announcement about GE08 April Fools yesterday? Yeah, well, it might happen in June. But then Michael Gove said it's probably going to be November. No, look, it'll probably be January.
I think it's going to be depending on the local elections. I think if there is a big enough turnout, if they lose, enough, then I think that could very easily force a general election a lot quicker. So do get out and vote in your local general election, especially if you happen to live in an area with a mayoral seat this year. There are 11 mayoral elections going on this year, I believe. The most important one is, of course, Ben Houchen. If you eject Ben Houchen, then we can actually start a proper investigation, find out what's going on at the Tees Works.
Teesside, Freeport.
Yep.
That they gave away for £3.
If you do live in that area, vote him out.
Yeah, please do. I can't vote for him, can I? I'm in Durham. I think I'm out of the reaches of the
no, I don't
area.
think so. Yeah.
Anyway, I think there is a different mayor that we have. Anyway, he's a bit of a nightmare. See what I did there. So, talking about me being right, I think Trump got bailed out by one of his billionaire mates. Exactly as I said would happen. I did say that would happen.
Yep.
And then it did happen.
Yep.
I said, I can't believe all the billionaires out there who love Trump because he makes the world horrible. Not one of them is prepared to stump up his money. And then this weird appeals court just came out last week with no explanation. Just said, it's all right, mate. Just pay half. Just pay less than half. That's fine. Pay what you can. We'll give you another 10 days. And then, he magically got this guy from down in Florida who's also lent him money in the past after the insurrection of January 2022 on his golf courses, gave him loans on his golf courses and some property. Yep. And now he's just handed over, was it 185?
175. Yeah, 175
million bonds on Trump winning his appeal against this case. But he can just kick it into long grass now, can't he? His appeal can take years.
Well, that's one case, but like I say, there's still 3 others out to get him. Of course, this is the property one. About him. There's one inflating his worth. That's the one with the bond. Then there's the Stormy Daniels one.
Yeah, that starts on April the 15th.
Yeah, Georgia election.
Yeah,
one.
Farney Willis. I don't know why she's not called Fanny Willis. It looks like Fanny to me, but people call her Fawny Willis.
And then I can't remember the 4th one for me now.
That's only 2. We've got the Georgia. We've got the January the 6th insurrection.
Oh yeah.
And we've got the documents. The
documents.
The classified documents that he stored in a toilet and showed his mates for money. And he
may or may not have plans to invade Iran on, apparently.
You know what? His lawyers, people make fun of his lawyers and say they're absolutely shite. And to be fair, they're shite at winning court cases. Like, they didn't win any of the court cases trying to overthrow the election results. They didn't win any of the court cases so far. Eugene Carroll and this money, is inflated worth to banks to get preferential loans. But what they are very good at is delaying things. And that's all he needs at the moment. If he can delay things till he's president, he can not only pardon himself for any federal cases that are pending, but the Georgia case, although he can't pardon himself on that, if it hasn't gone forward by that point, he can just sort of put the kibosh on it.
He can just kick it into the long grass because he's president technically at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't think he can pardon himself. I think that a lot of people have talked about that could cause a massive constitutional issue.
It won't matter. He'll never go to court. He'll serve out his term for the rest of his life, for as long as he lasts. Hopefully it won't be long. But he's a big fella. He might end up being like Mugabe and live into the ripe old age of 93. Hovers beyond felt. Yeah, I mean, he might make it all the way to 2040. Good job there's not any kind of I don't know, what's it called, like a problem with our environment going on right now that we really need to be tackling, like some kind of global geoengineering project by oil companies for the last 200 years to destroy the planet. Good job. There's no one needs to swing into action and stop them right now before it's too late.
I mean, I think I said it last week as well. I don't understand why they've let him go, and I think it's a foolish idea to when they literally had him, literally like ready to scream. Where we would have seen those images of like, what they call now deputies, bailiffs. That's it. Going into his properties in New York and just taking everything that he owned.
Because he's rich.
Unfortunately, we're not going to see that.
Because he's rich, so he doesn't have to follow the same rules as us mere mortals.
I still think there's such a foolish way to let him off for that. Yeah. So
they
foolish.
Go low, kick him.
Yeah.
None of this. You go high. No, you kick them really hard while they're vulnerable. But the thing is, the Republicans want to make things as difficult as possible to pass any kind of legislation, even for themselves. Like they can't pass legislation, never mind anyone else,
because they're so involved with arguing with each other at the moment. They've almost got the exact same problem that's going on in our Conservative Party. Yeah, that they are just so split ideologically. They're all over the place.
But there is a very, very strong similarity between the Tory party and the Republican Party in that they're not enacting legislation. They're not using their time in control of the House of Commons or the House of Representatives to actually put legislation through, to propose legislation, because they don't know how to create anything. All they know is how to destroy. They're just like, there's some people who've got a face that says no. Before you ask them a question, they're going to say no. You know the type, don't you? You meet them in life.
We've all met them.
Yeah. And you're like,
computer says no.
Yeah. Halfway through the question, you think, I can't even ask finishing this because you're just going to say no, aren't you? No. That's what the Tories like. They're just like, no, nine, not doing that yet. Svak says it's a weird double standard. I doubt any regular person, aka non-rich, was allowed to play 4 times less amount as well as given extra time to get the required sum. And Tickenade says, Royston Merchant is my favourite Toff parody from Drop the Dead Donkey. More of a piss take of Rupert Murdoch, but very funny and worrying at the same time. I remember Drop the Dead Donkey. That's probably before your time, young Ollie. It was a Channel 4 show about a newsroom, and it was made in the week. It was always shot in the week before it went live. And they actually did the last few shots like the day before it went out, and then during the credits, they'd have a sequence where 2 of the characters were talking to each other about the news that day. So it was set in a fictional newsroom, but they were talking about the news that happened in the last week. It was fucking amazing, and it's a kind of satire that we could do with right now, but unfortunately, we don't. Have you watched Three Body
The only
Problem
thing I remember of that line was the day-to-day in Brass Eye.
Oh, great.
That's the only one I
with them as well. But yes. Anyway, have you watched Three Body Problem yet on Netflix?
No, not yet.
This is the new adaptation by the people who adapted Game of Thrones. Because the adaptation from the books was quite good, actually.
It's going to start strong and end terribly.
No, because the books are written. There's 3 books in the cycle, and they've all been written. But there was I watched an episode last night, and there was a sequence in Panama. I won't give anything away. But when you're watching something going, that looks really cool, and I can see why they wanted to do this sequence because it looks cool. But it makes no freaking sense at all. Absolutely not at all, because there's a much easier way of achieving what they were trying to achieve. That's all I want to say. But you haven't seen it, so that'll make no sense to you whatsoever, unless you've seen that episode. Meet me afterwards. I'll tell you how they should have done that. Anyway, Tim Ballon says, I think Larry and Paul could do it. Yeah, let's get Larry and Paul on. Seriously. Right, I reckon, we get the Exploding Heads, we get Larry and Paul, we get Abe Thompson, we get Marina Perkis and Gemma Forte. And we all like make a satire show together on YouTube. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that's a winner? Not branded for Labour. Yeah. Not branded for Labour, but like just let's take the piss
have it our own branded.
Yeah, Super Tansky. all the people who are funny. Do you know what I mean? Like, could actually crack a joke and stuff about the news.
I could come on, do Yorkshire Report. Just go. Not happening outside Yorkshire really matters because Yorkshire's the best place in the world, and nothing good happens outside of Yorkshire, but everything good happens in Yorkshire.
In Yorkshire, God's own country.
Amazing.
That's what the Welsh call Wales as well, God's own country.
Welsh.
New Zealand is called New Zealand God's own country as well. But yeah, that's getting off topic. But no, I think that would be really cool because I like my news peppered with a few jokes. So I like watching John Oliver in America because he does like an investigative journalism report on something awful that's going on in America.
I love jokes in there. The points where John Oliver talks about the UK stuff because I just wish that we had someone like him doing that for like in the UK. And the thing
that kind of budget.
Yeah, it's the only thing that's really worked that for that amount of time has been Have I Got News for You?
Yeah.
And even now there's, people will say, oh, it's good, it's bad, it's a bit, all over the place at the moment. But Private Eye, I was just going to look, I'm sure I had Private Eye, if you are looking for good news, I can't recommend Private Eye enough for like news and satirical things. Yep, there it is. Yep.
The thing is, I read this and get absolutely enraged because there's so many things going on that aren't reported in the newspapers about all this. Because these guys were reporting on what was happening with the post office years ago and the Teesside stuff, the Teesport kerfuffle. It's just stuff that doesn't touch the sides in the usual news media.
Yeah, say probably tomorrow, I think I'm going to do a video or at least a stream about because it's in there George Galloway's brand new pal who's done this miraculous Ukraine U-turn because he's now running for George Galloway's The Workers' Party.
Oh right, okay.
And yeah, he's written this fantastical blog trying to like justify his U-turn. But it's very fun.
Well, number crunching this week, 22%. Canadian Conservative Party's polling deficit behind the front-running Liberals in March 1993 before they lost all but 2 seats in election that autumn. And that was 22%. 25% UK Conservative Party's current polling deficit behind Labour, according to a YouBruv. Oh, are you all right, bruv?
You bruv. All right.
You bruv.
Welcome to you, bruv.
Last week. Right. Okay, moving on. Segueing. So Israel's been up to mischief again. Not only has it killed a bunch of aid workers today, including 3 Brits, a couple of days ago it decided to bomb an embassy, a consul in Syria, killing at least one Iranian general, which isn't going to go down very well in Iran.
Yep. This has been, I think, everyone's worry about this conflict right from the get-go, that this is going to sort of spiral from where it is currently into a far more regional conflict. And that's going to cause a lot more death toll going on and a lot more chaos in the Middle East. So if that happens, and Israel has been very, very silent about this, they've not really said too much about it. Iran has already called their ambassador, but I don't think, from last I heard, he'd refused to go to the respond. So they'd given, I think, them like 24 hours to actually respond, or else they might. Well, I think they threatened they'd kick out that particular ambassador. It wouldn't sort of permanently get rid of the Israeli embassy. Look, but they've said, we're going to sort of ask you to replace that ambassador if he's not going to, turn up when he's asked to answer quite a reasonable question. To be honest, like, why have you killed one of our generals in another country and bombed that particular embassy? This is, as I said at the beginning, this is the big point everyone's worried about of this conflict spiraling out.
That's the escalation, isn't it? Yeah,
conflict.
We could end up in a very strange world in which the Saudi Arabians come in on the side of the Israelis because they seem to hate Iran more than they hate Israel. And
this is it. This is what could cause some very bizarre alliances.
It's all getting a bit odd, isn't it? Because in Yemen, the Houthis in Yemen, they started off as a Sunni splinter group. They were actually Sunnis. They weren't Shia, I don't think. And then they're getting funded by Iran. And also, I think that I don't know if someone can correct me in the comments on this, but I've got a feeling that Hamas is actually funded by Iran as well. No, is it Hezbollah? Hezbollah, and they're Shia. No, they're Sunni Muslims, and they're getting funded by Shia Muslims. So yeah, it's very strange alliances going on in the Middle East at the moment. Yeah. Puninator has just dropped £5 into the super chat. Thank you very much, Puninator. In the Discord, I put a message, currently writing a dream manifesto and getting the viewers to help. Once it's done, would you do a stream or video with it? Yes, as long as it's called Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll. That's the name of my manifesto. But yeah, Ticketator saying the mainstream media is very odd. Sometimes the Times, for instance, do some excellent journalism, but often spouts nonsense and goes down pointless cul-de-sacs. Even readers aren't impressed with it often. Yeah. But then, the Times it's owned by Rupert Murdoch, and the reason why it might come across as a little schizophrenic, although I know you're not supposed to use that term, but it's because it's supposed to have editorial independence. But oh my God, you can tell when Murdoch has called them up.
Yeah,
he's made a phone call.
It also helps that they've still got some good journalists.
Yeah,
and I think that helps. But
yeah,
how long does that last?
Yeah. There's Anyway, so let's move on to Haiti.
Oh yes.
Mate, this is. Yeah. I mean, Haiti's a sad story. Just from the get-go, a place where there was a slave rebellion 200 years ago. The first country in the Caribbean, in basically that whole region to achieve independence, and it was treated as a pariah for many years. There was an embargo against goods and things coming in. And there was a succession of very, very bad leaders. I think Papa Doc was one of the Haitian leaders for many, many years, who were just horrible to their own people, dictators. They got the job by killing the last guy. You got the job by killing the last guy. You got the job by killing the last guy. You got 200 years of political instability, no help from other countries. And it's one of those where, like, the neighboring country, obviously, you've got it shares the island of Hispaniola with Dominican Republic, but just across the water, like practically a swim away, is Cuba. And if you are a Cuban refugee fleeing from, Fidel Castro on a I don't know, a water ski or something, and you get to the Florida Keys, you'll be welcomed with loving arms and said, "Oh, you're an American citizen now." If you're coming from Haiti, you'll probably be deported.
Yeah.
Any ideas why you think that might be?
The pro sort of Castro.
Yeah. It's the love of Castro in America, but also, I mean, about 13 years ago now, they had that really horrific earthquake. I think it was January 2010. I think it was in Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, and that didn't help with the instability. And now it's honestly just descended into a form of civil war where gangs are roaming the capital street and basically shooting anyone who looks at them funny.
Yeah, I think you have to sort of be careful with calling them like an insurrection. Really, it is the gangs trying to take over. Their leader bizarrely is called Barbecue.
Oh dear, I kind of don't want to know why he's called Barbecue.
I found that rather bizarre, but they are trying to, at the moment, saying, "Oh, we're not trying to take over. We're not, trying to sort of do a coup. We're not trying to sort of, intimidate people, or at least, the next leaders of the country into doing this. We're really just our revolutionaries of our time, trying to sort of set out this new goal for Haiti, but they're not. They are full on, really sort of trying to take over. This is them trying to say, well, look, you can have a government so long as, you don't bother us too much. You allow us to continue doing what we are doing with our criminal activities. And as long as you allow us to do that, well, then we won't bother you. And they are at the moment in a new sort of escalation of this, trying to sort of really sort of bully and sort of spread out from the capital where initially this violence has been to sort of go into more the more wealthier areas of Haiti, the more like the suburb areas, just start trying to intimidate people and just start, as you said, just start shooting people. This is yet something that does need a proper international response. I mean, you've already got Kenya saying it wants to help by deploying like 1,000 policemen to help sort things out in Haiti, and they've already said that if you deploy them, we'll treat these people as invaders, and we'll get rid of them. So this is unfortunately what happens if a gang primarily fueled by the drug trade gets too much power. We saw this not too long ago in Colombia, where they've basically seemingly gone full police state, and it puts you in a bizarre position as a leftist where you are sort of saying, well, actually, I'm really in favor of this, massive police crackdown, because your alternative is
warlords.
If you let these gangs run riot, and you see
Afghanistan in the
going on
90s, Somalia. There are failed states where, basically guys in the back of pickup trucks with machine guns have taken over. But they usually fight with other gangs with pickup trucks and machine guns. And the people that suffer are just the normal people of Haiti. And it's so sad.
The biggest problem is that they've all united. That like this isn't like one gang. All the gangs of Haiti have gotten together to back this guy, and sort of to get rid of the current sort of president. And it's even worse now because they're actually coming out and revealing that a couple of people in the government, even in the opposition, were actually helping to sort of fund some of these gangs.
Oh shit!
And it's honestly
drug addiction?
turning into a massive mess. A massive mess. But yeah, I really do not see this honestly ending well. I think you could very easily see them going into like a civil war, purely because you'll have these gangs who say we have all this power, we have all this money, we are making all this money through the drug trade. We do not want to lose that. And part of the intimidation they are doing at the moment is to try and get amnesty. They've come out and said we want amnesty because we're not criminals, we're political revolutionaries. It's like, no, they're not. Not in the least. Do not fall for any of the stuff that they've been putting out, saying that these people are political revolutionaries, because they're not in the least. So be careful about that, because they have been trying to sort of push that angle that they are anything but political revolutionaries. These are people who are criminals, massive sort of drug kingpins who have a lot of power and want to keep that power, and are basically telling the government, you keep to your areas, we'll keep to ours. Sometimes we'll play, cops and robbers, but anything more than that, then you've got problems with us. So it's turning, unfortunately, very much into a narco state if they win, because they're putting themselves into a position where do you go from here? Because they've already got so much power in the streets. They've already done so much stuff that, services cannot run. The police are being barricaded in their own sort of precincts, being unable to act to all kinds of sort of different stuff. There's been a big incidents of them setting fires in the capital city. The fire department sort of can't properly react to this place. All this stuff that they are doing is sort of massively destabilizing the country, and they're going to find themselves in a situation where they're the government almost by default if it continues in this way, and they're the ones with the power. And unfortunately, when people come to power this way, it doesn't end up going well. It doesn't end up going well at all, especially when this is directly meant to be sort of a coalition of gangs who do not like each other and would probably fight each other if they decided that, well, that was the best thing for them. But unfortunately, it's not going to be a very good time for Haiti at the moment.
And the murder rate has gone through the roof. It's actually doubled The murder rate in 2023 was 40.9 people per 100,000. In the UK, it's about 1. And just to put that into perspective, though, in 2021, in the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., the murder rate was 41
Yeah.
per 100,000. So 0.1 per 100,000 more than Haiti in the middle of a proto-civil war. So yeah, just bear that in mind. The actual figure for 2020 has come down a bit. It's now in District of Columbia. It's now a mere 29.3. But that used to be my favorite.
Like say in Colombia, this is because they went on that massive like lockup campaign, and you know it's a weird situation where I feel like, why am I like supporting the police during this massive authoritarian crackdown? But you look at the stuff that these gangs were getting away with, and you can't blame them, to be honest, doing that, because it's the only option they really had to sort of bring some peace and normality to the streets.
But yeah, at what cost? But yes, exactly. So I just want to say thank you to Tinkinator. Thank you very much. Puninator first. In the Discord, I put a message. Oh, I've done that one. Tinkinator, £10. Thank you very much. YouTube Socialist, YT Socialist, $1. Did an excellent video and accompanying podcast discussion about the democratic simulation, how capitalism will bring around totalitarian if we don't move away from it soon. So I'd like to watch that, but I'm not of the opinion that we need to do away with all aspects of capitalism in order to get it under control. I think at the moment it is out of control, and we're seeing this with the biggest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich in human history, which is saying a lot considering, you know, the era of slavery, the era of colonization, but the amount of wealth that is flowing out of poorer countries to richer countries, and they're in the richer countries from, you know, the poorer people in those countries to the richer people in those countries, has ratcheted up since COVID. Like it's off the charts now. And what I see as the solution to this is we need more socialism in our government. We need more restrictions and limitations put on the power of these companies and private enterprises, and things like the water companies shouldn't be privatized. No one should be making a profit on their dividends, the shares that they own in our water companies, while our rivers are being filled with shit every day. So yeah, I'm all for a bit of a balance. I don't think it'd be a
50-50 split. You know, 50% capitalism, 50% socialism. I think that's really the perfect balance in many of these areas.
These people who are like evangelical about capitalism, you know, like the Liz Trusses in the world, who just want to say
the free market fundamentalists.
That's it, free market fundamental. Leave it to the market. The market will sort it. No, the market pushes things towards communism. The market pushes things towards no competition, no choice. You take what you're given and you pay through the nose for it, with no money left over to enjoy your life. That's what capitalism wants to do. That's its natural progression left unchecked. And it's why we need to have trade unions, labor laws, why we can't, you know, we have minimum wage, why we should be bringing in universal basic income. And people can tell, you know, these companies to stick their job. They don't need it. People shouldn't be working out of desperation. They should be working because they want to and they enjoy the job. I really liked working in a bar. And you know what? I cleared my drains at the weekend. And that's not a euphemism. I really did in the back garden. And do you know what? It was a horrible job. It was an absolutely horrible job. I won't lie. But it was quite satisfying when the water, whatever, the stuff that was down in the sewers actually dislodged and went away. And I was like, yes, achievement. So that was nice. Number 3, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. We need a decent constitution.
Yep.
I've got a very good constitution. I went to every country in the world and didn't get ill. Anyway, so our constitution, sex and drugs and rock and roll, coming soon to an ebook retailer near you. But yeah, okay. So what was our last story? Well, this is the story that I put on the thumbnail. Russia has used a veto to end UN monitoring of North Korea sanctions. Tell us more, Ollie.
Yeah. There's very, very few times you can point to when the UN Security Council unanimously agrees on something, and putting sanctions on North Korea and having a monitoring organization. Because if you look into it, North Korea's tried all kinds of like tricks to try and get around sanctions. So you need an organization that is going to sort of look and monitor, and of course that was decided by the Security Council unanimously for 14 consecutive years until this weekend, that the UN was going to continue this monitoring, and that they were going to sort of keep on looking at North Korea and making sure that North Korea wasn't skirting sanctions, wasn't getting around, anything like that. And then along comes Russia to this vote. Everyone's expecting this vote to pass, and what happens? Russia, out of nowhere, vetoes it. Now, why, may you ask, is Russia suddenly vetoing something which for the past 14 years it has agreed with? Well, this is once again because of the war in Ukraine, and because Vladimir Putin is currently buying an absolute ton of artillery shells, rockets, anything he can get his hands on from North Korea. Is the only country that is willing to sort of give him any military equipment, and North Korea is more than willing to do that in return for all kinds of stuff that's quite concerning, going from 80s technology to 90s technology, which, well, for North Korea is a big leap in technology, but also to really bizarre things of, we've seen allowing Russian tourists to come and ski the Great Mountains of North Korea because of sanctions, because of travel bans. They can't go to many of the European ski slopes, and the rich want to do some skiing. So they've decided, well, why don't you come on down to North Korea and have your ski holiday, skiing in the Kim Jong-un like ski resorts.
Come check out my piste. I have a lovely piste. Yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to make a joke about being taken up the Jongun, but I better not. Anyway, Jez, hi. I've appeared late. Has Ollie been stolen away by the goblins to their woodland kingdom again? Why are you in your woodland? No, he's been shrunk down to the size of a little tiny person.
I'm with the little people. I've got my frog called Farad. Look at him. Look at him. There's a tickle his chin.
Tiny little Nigel there, and a little butterfly there as well. And what looks like what is that? A stag beetle behind you? That looks like a stag beetle to me. I'm not an etymologist. Entomologist. Sorry, etymology is words. Entomology is insects, I think. Someone correct me in the chat. I think that should be I'll just get that on a t-shirt. Someone correct me in the chat. It'd be good. So, do you think that
we're getting all these phrases now for the future merch line?
yeah, get it on a cup. Someone correct me in the chat. So, do you reckon Putin is quite far down the road now of being Kim Jong-un's bitch?
I don't think it'll be. I don't think he'll have that power, but I think Kim Jong-un is more than happy to take all this stuff from Putin.
Yeah.
Because it's the only place you can get it from. But there was not that too long ago, there were photos of like Russians cutting open like these shells, these artillery shells. Yeah. And what you should see in an artillery shell is the sticks of the detonator, like all perfectly like in a line, so that you know what the force of that shell is, which once you know that, you can then start to accurately direct your artillery shells to where they're going to go. The thing with the North Korean artillery shells is you literally got a bundle, a stick shoved in there randomly, and Well, you can't predict that. It's literally just put in there for random. So the Russians are taking very substandard artillery shells, which is going to do
Yeah.
one of two things. Either A, it's going to overshoot if there's too much, or B, they're going to undershoot, meaning that they can't accurately target their artillery, which I suppose is going to be good for the Ukrainians.
Doesn't that make it more exciting?
Yeah, if they start, especially if they start shelling their own, which, to be honest, given this war so far, they have done in the past, even before they were taking shipments from North Korea.
Do you know what my favourite moment of the war is so far? I know that's a bad thing to say, probably. It's not very politically correct. Was when they had the big display of all of the armaments in Moscow, and they only had one tank, and it was taken out of a museum. Sorry, sorry. You just got to take the funny bits where they come along. But oh my god,
I also have.
If you're doing a satire, someone said satire is dead because life is just too satirical.
I don't know if you know Laserpig.
I know Moonpig's got a very annoying jingle that gets stuck in your head.
Well, Laserpig is a big sort of military blogger. He used to, I think he was sort of like military intelligence, where I think he used to work. He has sort of today said that the Challenger 2 tanks that we've sent to Ukraine are actually currently in combat. So the likelihood in the couple of days of a Challenger being in combat is going to be a big moment of pride for a lot of people in the UK, as we actually see our stuff can do stuff.
Oh, good. It's only taken 2 years, but yeah, got there in the end.
Yeah. We also have. I don't think it has been confirmed, but the Ukrainians have said that it's happened, but it's not been confirmed. We actually have now the longest tank-to-tank kill in this war from a Challenger 2, which, if that happened, once again, yay, British equipment.
I don't want. What do you mean by that? Tank to tank, like the furthest the shell can go and blow up another tank.
Yeah. So that will be a massive boost for like military equipment, considering we've had a lot of military fails recently.
Well, there was a guy, I've forgotten his name. He was a prime minister of the United Kingdom. We've had so many in the last few years, I lose track. But I'm pretty sure he stood up in like a select committee or something, and he said that we didn't have to worry about tank warfare on the doorstep of Europe anymore. Pretty sure.
Yeah, that was the infamous military review, and then, of course, the Ukraine war happened.
Yeah,
which basically just went. The Ministry of Defence just had to completely throw it out the window because it was just completely useless.
Exactamundo. Yeah, so we got some people in the chat. Is Scotland far enough to warrant a GEOSCOPE chat? Well, maybe the new hate law came in America. In Scotland yesterday, and to which JK Rowling replied, I hate trans people, arrest me. Oh, God, yeah. Ollie, what is wrong with these people? I
feel really bad about this, because
Johnson and Musk, if they've got that much money, why do they just spend their lives making other people's lives a misery?
I feel really bad about this as well, because I grew up with like Harry Potter. Like I was like that Harry Potter generation. So I grew up with Harry Potter, and it feels so weird that JK Rowling is like doing this stuff, spouting this stuff, when one of like the core themes of like her book was the whole wizard muggle thing. And the racism that happened there, and that it was a bad thing that you treat others differently because they might have a different whatever. I don't know, whatever the wizarding thing was. I can't remember now. It's been that long since I've read them. But yeah, it's so weird that this has happened and gone in this direction. And I think a lot of people of my age just feel really weird by it, honestly. I don't understand why she's gone down this route.
I think she's got some serious mental health problems. I know that sounds like just dismissing it, but it doesn't make any sense for someone who's written that work to then turn around and just like shit all over everything it stood for. the idea of the underdog, the idea of finding out who you truly are at the age of 11 and finding this magical. I mean, a lot of people in the LGBT community saw that as an allegory about their own lives, about their own coming out the closet under the stairs, and being, true to who they are, and finding friendship with others who are, similar outcasts, if you like. But I've got a few trans friends, and they are so upset. And this is the thing, like, I think we get this idea that there's this sort of group of trans people who are like, very strident, and they decide what government policy is, which is not true at all. But all the trans people I've ever met have just been really sweet and nice and kind and gentle, and, not running around banging on drums and screaming at everyone that they deserve free stuff. They don't want free stuff. They just want to be treated with dignity and respect, which, I think anyone should have, as long as they haven't done something horrible.
Are we going to put money on that JK Rowling comes out as trans in a couple of years' time?
Well, she said that in her essay that she wrote, the one about, how she had suffered at the hands of a man, not a trans woman, a man, not a trans man, a man, a cisgender man. And that was justification in her head for feeling this way that she does about trans people. And in that essay, she said, had I been, 30 years younger, I might have considered it myself. And this is interesting. She wrote under the name JK Rowling rather than Joanne, because she wanted, apparently, she was told that children's books written by women don't sell as well. News to Enid Blyton. And then this name that she picked for her subsequent adult books, Robert Galbraith, it was the name of someone who used to do conversion therapy to gay people. Like a doctor in America who used to do conversion therapy. And that's the name she picked. Don't tell me she didn't Google it before. If I decided to pick a name, for my stage name, I'd be like, I'll go with the name Gary, because, Graham's a bit like Gary. And do you know what? I really like glitter. So I'll just type that into Google, see if anyone else has already used that name, and if that name would be problematic if I used it. Or if I was the richest author in the world, I'd just get someone else to do it. I'll just ring a bell. Ollie!
Yeah.
Go and check out if the name Gary Glitter is problematic as my stage name. Just, mate, it's painful. Yeah, maybe we could go with Graham. Yeah, Graham Linehan. Look that up. See if that's problematic.
Yeah.
Rowling stopped ripping off better writers, now ripping off tiny Tommy 10 names, J.K. Robinson. Yeah, it's true. I mean, she is sounding a lot like Tommy Robinson now. Stephen Yaxbury Lennon, or what his name is, because he does things where he goes, "Oh, I'm going to tweet this. Arrest me." Lawrence Fox does the same thing, like this provocateur. Ha ha! I get to say something mean to a downtrodden part of our community. Arrest me! Ha ha! And it's punching down at such a, I don't know, such a level of magnitude. It's painful. Like all these.
Yeah, that's something a good point someone brought up in the chat. Yeah, Sachs. And don't even mention, of course, elf slavery and the defense of it in the books. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a very good point.
And the Chinese character with a name that no one in China has. And the fact that the goblins who run the Gringotts Bank share some quite horrible similarities with the Nazi idea of Jewish people who running banks. There's a few problematic things. The biggest problem for me was that there was a ginger boy with two friends, and one of them was a girl. Why are you laughing, Ollie?
Hey, look! Hey, he ended up with the girl. Yeah,
I know. I mean, bloody hell! As if. I don't know. Anyway, I say that as someone who ended up with the girl from school, who was very Hermione-like in school, in that she was a straight-A student, and I was a naughty ginger boy. But it did take 20 years for us to get together after the end of school, for her to come around to my way of thinking.
Played the long game.
Yeah, we're here for a good time, not a long time. That's the way I see it. Sarah in the chat saying, "I'm so scared of being a trans woman in the UK," and so I my heart goes out to you. I think it's absolutely horrible what trans people are being put through and for no reason. There's just no need for this at all. I've made this point a few times. A few years ago, 10 years ago, no one cared about what toilet trans people used. Yeah. It wasn't an issue. No one thought that like trans people existing was erasing women's rights. It wasn't an issue. And then the tabloids, and then JK Rowling and Graham Linehan and the right wing decided, culture war, who are we going to pick on next? It's all their fault. And I don't see any difference between picking on that minority or picking on Jews or picking on Muslims or black people or people from Indian heritage. I mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's and that's such the weird thing, you know, because I can look and I can see the books on my bookshelf right now, and it feels just so weird, like having them. But it was just such big part of, like, you know, me growing up, and I know a lot of people my age who I think this is roughly the same thing for them. Yeah. They look at owning those books now and feel a bit weirded out by having those books. But
I feel that way about Roald Dahl. So I grew up with Roald Dahl. I remember when Matilda came out. I was only a little kid, but I remember when it came out, I was dead excited. I loved his books. But more recently, we found out that he's a, you know, massive anti-Semite. I say more recently, I actually remember a Jewish friend of mine in school in the 90s pointing out that he was a massive anti-Semite, and everyone going, "Oh, really? Okay." He was dead by then, but yeah, it's yeah. I think it might be easier to separate someone like Roald Dahl, you know, the death of the author thing about being able to separate the art from the artist, because obviously you got problematic things with like the painter Gill and the sculptor. He was horrific. I've got his full name now. You know, Gill Thingy. What's his name?
Yeah.
You know, someone tell me in the chat. He deeply problematic person. And yeah, Salvador Dali, another deeply problematic person. He was quite into his old fascism. He quite liked a bit of fash. Yeah, but I think Rowling is kind of unique in that she's still alive and alienating so many of her fans, her own fandom, like yourself.
Yeah, it's honestly, it is quite bizarre. I know I'm probably not the only person who like looks at the comments and, you know, remembers growing up with the books and sort of remembering that message.
Yeah.
And now to sort of see this, and it's like, oh, you know, it does feel really weird. Yeah. It does feel really weird.
David in the chat points out something that I've noticed. Why do transphobe always seem to pick on trans women and not trans men? If you want to use the bathroom of your biological selection at birth, if you're going to have some bearded men who present as men with six packs, rippled muscles going into women's toilets because they're trans men, which makes no sense whatsoever.
Speaking of which, because I think this because let's leave on a bit of a brighter note, because obviously someone who has continuously promoted this part of this trans nonsense is a guy called Steven Crowder. Do you know who Steven Crowder is?
His name rings a bell.
He is very much a right-wing news sort of personality, and it looks like at the moment he's going to be in a world of trouble. Ooh, because one of his former show hosts, a guy called a guy who used to go by the moniker of not gay Jared, recently came out and did a video telling the world about all this abuse and like legal abuse he has suffered at the hands of Steven Crowder.
Oh,
and yes, it looks like he is going to be in an absolute world of hurt for that.
Oh, good.
So
that's a bonus.
And like I say, he's been one of the people who has been sort of spreading this trans stuff, anti-trans stuff for years. So it's good that he's finally being taken down. Yes, exactly. Oh no, it's Sam Cedar. Exactly. That Steven Crowder. Okay. One of his more infamous moments, definitely, but well worth a watch.
Yeah. Tinkinator, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. It's really kind. Trans haters, there's only 2 genders in nature, reality, 1 species of fungi. You're going to have to bear with me on this. Schizophyllum commune has more than 23,000 genders.
Yeah, because of my dyslexia, when I first saw that, I thought only 1 species of Ferengi, and I'm like, what? Where did the Ferengi come into this?
There was a brilliant episode, and I don't know which Star Trek it was. It was Deep Space Nine or Voyager or something. And they found the link between, I think it was the Ferengi, the Romulans, the Vulcans, the humans, the Betazoids, or whatever. And it was that they were seeded, and that's why they shared similar characteristics. It's one of the things that really annoyed me about the Star Trek universe. That will fly to the other side of the galaxy, and we would meet people in the Gamma Quadrant who look like people from Earth. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure if you ever meet aliens, they're not going to look quite like us, because it was quite a unique evolution.
That's one of the weird things in the Star Trek universe. The whole, there's this pre-progenitor race that apparently there was this big sort of civil war, but then we all magically forgot all this technology existed.
That's always a difficult one. Yeah, but isn't that supposed to be what happened with Battlestar Galactica reboot, which we're not going to go into because we're going to run out of time in a moment. Yep. Before we do go, it's always pointed out that we need to do some kind of, I think they were saying that we should need to do like a trans Harry Potter. I'm so up for that. I think we should do a try the waters with a all trans episode of Father Ted. Redo the fascist episode where he finds all the Nazi regalia in the basement of that priest.
I hear you're anti-trans now, Father.
Yeah. So basically, some priest has died, and they go down into the basement, and the priest is Father Graham, and in his basement is just all this trans pornography. And he's like supposed to be, and they're like, we have to hide this and not let anyone know that he was actually massively into it. And then we need to make an all trans Harry Potter.
Well, it is coming up to remake a clock for Harry Potter anyway, so
and we have the original characters in it as the teachers. Boom! There'll be so. God, imagine Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Thingy, and Rupert Grint. Emma Watson. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's something else actually to worth bringing up. That the original Harry Potter actors, they've come out very strongly against a lot of the stuff that JK Rowling has said. In fact, there was the whole issue about the reunion, and them saying, well, if JK Rowling turns up, we're not turning up.
Wow.
So good for them for speaking out. Yeah. Good for them for speaking out.
Absolutely. And JK Rowling sitting there going, well, the actors, the young actors that I propelled to stardom with my amazing ideas that I might have ripped off someone else. She's like, they're all wrong. And me being on the same side of this debate as Trump, Putin, and Tommy 10 names. Oh yeah, we're the right. And this is the thing I said about Brexit. If you're ever wondering about the morality of something that you are doing, right? Have a look at who's on the same side as you. And have a look if you really want to hang out with those type of people. Yeah. Have those, Tommy 10 names and all that lot. I don't think that you do. Because if they got power, the first thing they'll do, Joanne, is they'll take away your rights as a woman.
Yep.
There's, transphobe, misogynists, kind of same thing, really. Anyway, Daniel Radcliffe as Severus Snape. Oh, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
That'd be quite good. Oh no, David Lilly bring up the infamous DS9 episode of Quark. We pretend that episode doesn't exist. Look, there are a couple of really bad episodes of Star Trek, really bad episodes of Star Trek, but we just pretend that they don't exist.
Anyway. Right, well, I'm going to be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 for Morning Brew. Phil is doing the last 2 days of this week. I'll be here tomorrow. And also, hopefully, tomorrow we'll be having a live episode of The Intersection with Supertansky. And she's going to be talking about what it's like being a particularly gobby political commentator in this day and age and being a woman at the same time. And the perils and pitfalls of choosing that as a career path. Let's put it that way. So lovely Rachel is going to be hosting that. So please look out for that. That'll go out at 6:00 tomorrow. in the evening. Obviously not 6 o'clock in the morning. No one's awake at that time, unless they're still partying. Don't know why I did jazz hands then. I just go to jazz parties all night jazz parties.
Partying. Oh, can we do that now? Can that be a t-shirt design as well? Graham going partying.
Jazz hands. No. I think that is partying in BSL and British Sign Language. That's party. Yeah.
There we go.
And that is Liverpool. And also lesbians.
I bet that's not confusing at all.
What are you doing this weekend, Graham? Lesbians? What? No, I mean Liverpool. You're supposed to say the word as well, right? Anyway, right, should we get going? Got a bit over time. Get carried away with Harry Potter trivia. Okay, Ollie, thank you so much for doing this, going through the news stories that piqued our interest this week. And we won't be back next week because you're on your jollies, aren't you, next week?
Yes, I am out next week.
Okay, I think I'm out as well.
Way.
So 2 weeks' time, we'll be back here. Yeah, same bat time, same bat channel. Fantastic. Okay, well, look out for us in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks, Ollie, and I'll see you soon. And to everyone watching this, thank you for the for the wonderful chat and the super chats. Very, very appreciated. And until next time, I'll say give us a like on the way out. And hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Bye.